Hello everyone, my name is Diogo Tarini. Welcome to another video here of my channel, and today we're going to speak about how you can nail your first job in filmmaking. The industry numbers are always growing, not only cameras, lenses and all this crazy new technology, but also professionals. There are more professionals out there in the industry for you to compete with them. And getting paid to do these jobs is becoming more and more difficult, especially when you don't have a portfolio or a show reel or some example to show your potential clients. I think one of the most important things in the beginning is to establish what path you want to follow, what exactly you want to film, what way you wanna go. And once you know exactly what you want to do, you can work around that idea just to perhaps show potential clients or to search for potential clients in that specific area. And some of these areas may be a bit more difficult than others, but there's always ways to break in and start your career in filmmaking, regardless of the area, right? So you have your regular job, you bought your first camera, or perhaps you got your first camera for your birthday, or whatever way you got your first camera. How do you start? What's the first step that you need to take? When I first started, I was filming friends, just having fun, rollerblading. Back then we used to rollerblade, and I was just having fun with a camera. However, that did not bring me any money, so I wasn't really a professional. But that did teach me how to operate a camera, how the basic controls would work, and obviously that would help me down the line with my next camera. But my first ever professional job, I got through a friend of mine here in London. He knew that I wanted to be a filmmaker. I was a filmmaker already, but not a professional one. But he knew that I wanted to have a portfolio, to build up a portfolio. So he called me and he said, Diogo, I've got this friend, she works for an American magazine and they're gonna have a launch party in London. Would you be interested in filming? I was like, hell yeah, obviously I want to film something to put on my portfolio. That was great. So that was how I nailed my first job, my first professional job in filmmaking. However, because they did not have any budget at all for this video, I decided to agree to do it for free, which was a great experience regardless if I was paid or not, because it was my first ever filmmaking job, which I was incredibly happy. Back then I wasn't really sure what I wanted to film, so in the beginning what I needed to do is just to explore different areas, regardless if it was weddings or behind the scenes or music videos. I just wanted to film something to understand how it works, and then I could then choose what exactly I wanted to do. So after filming this my first job, my first professional job, I managed to edit on my crappy iMac. I had a really simple Mac, but it could handle the footage. Back then it was a 550D, a Canon 550D, one of the first amateur DSLRs that Canon launched. And I managed to edit and then I put online. So I was really happy because then I had something to show potential clients. It wasn't really a portfolio, it wasn't a show reel yet, but I did have something to show to some clients or friends or whoever wanted to hire a filmmaker. And the next step that I find vital, being like, and is mandatory for me, is to having the guts to put your name out there, to put your name on the internet and just advertise that you are now a filmmaker, to obviously get paid jobs and live off filmmaking. Here in the UK, there are a few websites such as People Per Hour, Shooting People, or Gumtree, which I think is something similar to Craigslist in America, or even your Facebook timeline. You just have to advertise, you know, to put online on the internet that you are a filmmaker now, and if anyone needs you there, you know, you've got a little camera, you need the experience. The only thing that you might have to accept in the beginning is that you need to shoot for free. And the main reason is because you don't have experience. Not always you have to shoot for free. Some people are willing to pay, I don't know, maybe for your bus or your taxi, or, you know, get you some food, something which is fair. But also you have to bear in mind that sometimes you are going to have to work for free just in the beginning. Not just, but mainly in the beginning, because you technically don't have anything to show people and to add to your portfolio. So I think it's a risk that you have to take, at least in the beginning. Oh, and by the way, if you are interested in any of the websites that I mentioned earlier, I will just put them down below here on the description box. I had an ad on People Per Hour website that was probably about 7 years ago. I put an ad that I was a filmmaker, and a wedding production company from Nottingham called me offering a job. Just, you know, they said, oh, do you have a portfolio? And I was like, oh, I don't have a portfolio yet, but I have this video, which was the first video that I made that I mentioned earlier, about that magazine, and I was like, oh, that might not work because they're a wedding production company and this has nothing to do with weddings. And I was a bit concerned, but then after a couple of days the guy called me back and said, that was that you who filmed and edited? And I was like, yeah. He was like, oh, I'm pretty happy with your work, I'm pretty impressed. I've got a wedding in 2 weeks in London, would you like to film? And I was like, hell yeah. I was really impressed with his with his feedback. So that was it. I nailed my first paid job in filmmaking, and that made me, you know, that just pushed me forward and made me obviously a lot more confident, especially without having much experience. I was super happy. The interesting thing that I think that happened to me during this first job was I didn't have a super powerful computer, I didn't have the latest camera, but I was keen on learning and trying new things. And this guy really believed in me. And I think that if you are keen on especially learning and accepting other people's feedback for you to improve your work, that's the main thing really, apart from advertising yourself out there and working for free. So here we are, 2017. I shot hundreds of weddings, travel videos, interviews, fashion shoots, resort, you know, films, and all this crazy stuff. But none of this would have happened if I did not go out and shot my first video, shot my first free video. You know, so you don't need fancy weddings or these crazy beautiful landscapes as you see on the internet that, you know, especially these vloggers now are shooting these amazing videos. You don't need this to make your debut, like, you know, to make your first film and put on the internet, especially for the younger filmmakers, for the, you know, you just came out of university now, or you're so keen to learn. That is the main thing. You have to have your camera or your phone, no matter what you have, as long as it records, go out there and shoot. That is really, really important, and that's what you need to do right now. And also have a bit of positive attitude. Just ask people around. Like, you may have a friend who is already a filmmaker, and ask them if you can come along and join them next shoot. Maybe it's, I don't know, it's a wedding and the couple is pretty easygoing and your friend needs a helper. Just ask, even if it's for free. Again, you need to learn, in the beginning you need to learn how a camera works, how are the basic controls, or, you know, just how exactly it works behind the camera. That's, honestly, it's great to be behind a filmmaker and see how they actually shoot. So then you can develop your own style and obviously learn on the go how to do that job. So that's it, guys. Here are my tips for you to get started in the filmmaking industry and nail that first filmmaking job. Please subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. If you have any questions or suggestions on perhaps how you got your first job or anything else that you want to add to this video, please leave in the comments below and hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. My name is Diogo Guattarini and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.